badasses.
Ecto Radio.
Nothing in his path was safe. Not the planes in the sky. Not the ships at sea. Not the men. Nor the vehicles on the ground.
Ecto Radio. The ghost hunting badasses.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Only on the Supernatural Radio Network. Beer-fueled, whiskey-filtered paranormal radio.
Okay, and welcome to Ecto Radio. I'm the Hitman.
I am Racer.
So we made it.
Barely. Accidents and everything else. People being crazy today.
Oh, kiddos going back to school, more people on the roads. It's just not been...
No. It's not been easy.
Not been a good day. So, yeah. Interesting thing, man, this weekend. As we told you guys last weekend, we went out to Kelly, the ghost town of Kelly, and where people were reporting seeing ghost lights. So, well, it took, 45 minutes of arriving to debunk all that.
Yep.
Or at least most of them. So, amazing difference, though, how you can think something is a particular area at night, but when you look at it in the daytime, completely different scenario.
Yeah.
So, apparently what's going on is the road that goes down from the mine through the old town site is at more of an angle
Yeah.
than what you think it is. And so cars driving on the road, it looks like there's a light, and it looks like a light is over by the graveyard. But when you're actually up there in the daytime, you can tell that it's, the graveyard isn't even visible.
Yeah. You can't even see it.
And then while we were there, in fact, at the end, because we were dividing up into teams, and Team 2 got rained on.
Well, we made the smart choice. We're like, we'll go up first.
Yeah.
And then by the time Team 2 went up, you saw these dark, menacing clouds, and we were like, meh, we made the good choice.
But we had a car come up, and they were actually, you could tell it was just probably some guy and a girl, and they going up to make out or whatever, and they saw all the cars, like, damn, turned around. Well, that's more than likely what happened that first night we were there. They came up and saw cars, turned around and left.
Yeah.
So, nothing to see here. Move along. But it just goes to show how, bias affects everything. We were talking last week about, your most important step in any kind of investigation is your interviewing and
Right.
finding out what the witnesses have witnessed. Kind of neat one. And then after that, investigating what they report. Don't let bias take over and you create stuff that isn't there, And we were using the analogy of the little girl in the fire and how everybody would, latch onto that. But I got a couple of questions from people, and one of the things they were talking about, because I was using that analogy, and they said, well, what if, the door opened, and it was? What if it really is the ghost interacting? Well, I think you would see that in your interview process.
Right.
If the ghost is interacting with people, great example here in Albuquerque would be the Church Street Cafe. That, whatever that phenomenon is, it interacts with the owner and some of the staff. But you get that from interviewing them, that it's interactive like that. So I think in that kind of a situation, but even then, though, to think about it, when you look at the in-depth interviewing, it's still predictable. She does certain things. Mm-hmm. She doesn't go out and shoot craps, or something like that. Totally off the cuff. But so I think that's why you really have to look at your interviewing skills. Speaking of that, the newest trend for people is to start trying to get private investigators' license.
Really?
So they can have a badge. No.
A badge.
I think we did it a long time ago, and I think it is valuable because you learn good interviewing skills. And a lot of people say, well, how would that apply? Well, you learn how to interview, and you learn how to tell if people are lying. You mean there's all kinds of cool little skills that you can learn with that.
Not just lying, but I mean you can visibly tell. I mean psychology is good too because you can tell if this person probably has a chemical imbalance. They seem like they might be on medication.
Yeah.
And people that should be on medication and aren't on medication tend to have some pretty fascinating stories.
They do. They're the people that had that bumper sticker, I break for unicorns, elves, fairies, and other invisible creatures that only I can see.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
They have a pill for that.
Mm-hmm, they do. You should take them. But, it's just one of those things. I've been going through David Roundtree's book. And there's a couple things I can add to it. But, man, one of the things I think he really went over well, because his expertise being a sound engineer with electronic voice phenomenon, is going over noise floor, cross-modulation, how things, explainable things, I guess you could say, that can happen with the different kind of recorders out there. And yet another thing that you have to kind of watch for. One of the big things I think where bias comes in as well is, well, once again, another good example, the Arizona Theater for us. When we first went there, it was a place that's partially underground, and the guards would go in there because the AC was left on. So, it was to go in and cool off when they were doing their rounds. And the first story was, well, we're sitting back in here and we're watching, the stage. They don't turn on the lights; they keep the lights off. So they just go into the theater and they go up to the back and cool off. And they thought there might be something paranormal.
Right.
We investigated it and found that their claims weren't accurate. The people they were claiming that were haunting it couldn't have been because they didn't die in the area. And,
right.
It was just kind of far blown. And we initially blew it off, and then we decided to turn it to a negative control. And once again, if you're new to the podcast, negative control is a place that we use that's not haunted.
Right.
Gives us that little balance for our research. But the way we turned it into a negative control was Bob took a very crappy EVP that was taken down there, and it's horrible. It's one of those ones that, you listen to it, ain't nothing. Didn't matter. Bob used all the bias to his advantage to the guards, going, okay, we got one of them electronic voice phenomenons.
Right.
Yeah, check it out, listen. I'm having a hard time. Listen, it's saying I'd kill you.
And then all of a sudden,
I kill you.
Hear it.
Yeah. Oh my God, I ain't going down there again. And that's where the story changes. It changes to this
violent
ghost that attacks women, and made it perfect for the for research, because we had a negative control in a place where we had a lot of positives. But then we had the film crew when we shot Ghost Hunter X, and then that was one of the places. And I remember the conversation over many beers, should we say something? And we're going back and forth, and it's like, well, I think we should, keep it a secret, because how do we know that if we reveal it, it's going to, it's not going to blow our whole system? Back at this time,
right,
our process method 1 was under a double blind. So the ghost hunters had no clue that we were even doing these crazy little experiments. So I remember we eventually said, well, look at it this way. If they pick this place and this ends up being the gig, at least we know how it ends. It's not haunted. So, and that's, oddly enough, that was the one they picked, too. So we were like, yeah, we knew we doomed ourselves on that one. But that's one of the big, how bias can just affect how people perceive things. And it's one of the big boons of ghost hunting these days. Did you find anything interesting in news? I know I
found a couple things, but I actually have a few questions for you on things that you just brought up.
Oh, let's do that.
So you were saying that you did your research for the Arizona Theater, and that you found that nothing interesting ever happened there. The people that they claimed could be haunting it didn't even die there. Correct?
Right.
So how would that apply to people that think that cemeteries or graveyards are haunted?
It's the same thing. And, well, what makes a place haunted is witnesses reporting certain types of
Right.
phenomenon. Preferably more than one witness, because the more witnesses, the more legit it probably is going to be. There's something really weird going on. Not necessarily a ghost, but there's something unusual. So, to go ghost hunting in a graveyard just because it's a graveyard is kind of... That's your bias playing with you.
And you think that people are just biased because it's the thought that there are dead bodies here.
Well, there's that, and then there's... Well, it's not only graveyards. Every creepy building out there,
It's supposed
whether
to
it
be.
has stories
Yeah.
or not.
Ooh, it's haunted.
Yeah, exactly. They go
It's
by...
haunted. I want to go there.
It looks haunted. We got to investigate it.
And I'm guilty of that too because I mean when we were driving up to Kelly, I have no idea what they were, but they had all those old-looking buildings that were all boarded off and old.
The old hotel out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man,
We got to go stand
I'm not gonna lie.
I can Bruce Lee that board shit and get right in.
Yeah, there are some times where like you just you know the feeling comes over you and you're just kind of like, man, it still would be pretty cool to go there.
Well, as part of the hobby it's kind of like the urban exploration thing, you know, where you go out and you explore old places, old hotels and crap. The hobby of ghost hunting is kind of merged with that.
With
And
the
I think a
history
lot of
and the-
people that did that are now calling themselves ghost hunters and, hey, we can do this at the same time while we're breaking into this building.
to make us sound really legit
Yeah.
as we break and enter.
Yeah, we have a
Beanie.
reason we get busted by the cops. Yeah, you have to remember that it's the witness sightings that make something
Right.
reportedly to be haunted, not just because the area feels weird or my Freya goddess pendant is glowing and this must be spirits all over. Yeah.
Yeah, so not only, the bias of that, but, like we said earlier, is your witness mentally stable?
Well, that's why you like to have more than one, too. I mean, if you just have one, it's like, it could be that own person's bias interpreting something.
Let me summon the fairies. Hold on.
But when you have, 3 or 4 of them going, okay, look, we're hearing footsteps upstairs, and we saw this guy, he's not supposed to be in here, whatever. So, yeah, that's what's really going to set it off. Yeah, apparently did a really big, well, I was going to use a word, but I can't use it. Hang on. Okay, told Racer what it was off air. What do you think? What's a good word for that?
Mind screw.
Okay. About when we were talking about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about one of the things about trending what witnesses see over a long period of time, and we were talking about how ghosts look solid. What they see is solid. It looks like a person, often mistaken as a person.
Right.
And the question that came up was, how would you know if it was a ghost that died or a person that died, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I mean, how would you know? If they're solid looking and they're wearing modern looking clothing, you wouldn't notice.
Right.
There's nothing there to key you in. Something unusual is there. And a lot of people are kind of blown away by that, but
It's true.
that's what you get out of trending the data. But that adds a whole new dimension to it, doesn't it? Now you can kind of understand where you have people watching areas. Before this is kind of stupid, I mean, because I've had that happen on teams where, some dude walked down there. I don't know who he was, but other than that, did you check?
Just walk up. I remember you told
It
me
was a
that.
guy. It was a
Check.
live dude. How
Go
did
poke
you
him.
know? How do you know it was a live dude if you didn't go check? Could have been what we were looking for, and he's
Yep.
over there, giving you raspberries or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's a big thing. But don't let your bias get too in there, when we're doing like we did. When we really preached that, first trip to Tombstone, one of the investigators that was there, I swear, we were there, because this was before, it was right after the haunted history thing came out on Tombstone. And so they had the story in there about the woman, the prostitute that walks the streets of Tombstone. Mm-hmm. And then much later, it was revealed that the guy just made it up to be on TV. But at that time, I want to go find this
Here.
street walking hoe.
Yeah.
So we had people out, and we were like 3 a.m. But down in Tombstone, they all dress in the authentic Western garb. So the bar owners, be locking up, walking out, to the car, and here comes a ghost hunter.
Poke. Just checking.
It's like, yeah.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
So do you think that the bias thing, it kind of goes along with, the benefits of ghost hunting with the lights on and during the day? Because, obviously if a place is going to be haunted, it's going to be haunted whether it's day or night. And I think that a lot of people have that misconception of you have to ghost hunt at night. I think the downside of ghost hunting is not at night is your mind frame. It's dark. It's already creepy. And I think that would add to...
Well, look at Kelly. The difference between the day and the night investigations. I think one of the big things with and what time should you investigate should be determined by what your witnesses are telling you when the activity is happening.
Right.
Because if say it's a mechanical thing that's causing the noises they're hearing or something, or some other reasonable explanation, if you investigate during the times that the witnesses saw or experienced their thing, you have a better chance of isolating it if it's a man-made issue.
Right.
Like the old story we tell about the when we like to call the railroad train ghost, where the railroad lights from the engine were reflecting off the trophy and shooting into the room, and it looked like an apparition on the wall.
Yeah.
I know back then we were still learning, but had we paid attention more to the times, we would have noticed that you might have figured out it was a train because it was right on the hour when the train was going by. So, yeah. But, in the dark is horrible.
Yeah.
One of the things, and this is something out of David's book, which you guys should get. It's pretty good. #1 on Amazon. He's really doing well with it.
Good.
One of the things that he puts out in his cameras, he says there's nothing wrong with having a dark area. One area, we're going to keep this dark. We're going to illuminate it well with infrared lighting. And he's talking about you put your cameras out, have a little bit of backlighting, so it's well illuminated within the IR spectrum if that's what you're doing. But then keep the rest of the lights on in the rest of the building.
Right.
One advantage that is there if you're doing EVP is that a lot of people are not aware that the 60 hertz hum of power lines can be recorded on your recorder. Have you ever amped it up and you hear that bzzz or that? A lot of that is the 60 hertz hum of the power lines. You get rid of that, it makes your recording a lot quieter, and so that's the one advantage to it. But I think keeping them off all the time, you're really subjecting yourself to
safety issues.
And then you got that whole thing with your vision that plays tricks on you with the floaters. And
especially,
shadows.
if you've been using the LED flashlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All kinds of things.
Yeah, LED.
I've seen a lot of people swear they've seen shadow people. And what it was is, they're in there with flashlights. And, somebody will move across the beam of the flashlight off on the side or something. But what they perceive as a shadow, because, at least a shadow on the wall. And oh, my God, shadow person.
Ghost!
Fortunately, we were filming it, so we were able to go back. No, see, that was so-and-so. See, right here. Watch. There they walk across the light. There's your shadow. There you go. So, exactly. Better to have the lights on. It is. In daytime, think about your advantages with, if you're shooting in ultraviolet or infrared, there's a lot more infrared and ultraviolet light during the daytime.
And what rule is there? What has ever been documented? Who had the conversation with a quote-unquote ghost where they said, we like the dark?
It's Hollywood. Well, when we do the horror show, look where all the funky ghost stories, nothing happens in the daytime.
It was a dark and stormy night.
It all comes from Hollywood. Of course, there are things that happen in the evenings. And a lot of times that's simply because... this one's quieter. You notice more.
Do you think too that the reason why things happen in the evening, late at night with people, is because of exhaustion? They've already been awake all day. Do you think that exhaustion might have a role in that?
I don't know if exhaustion does.
Or being tired.
I just think it's. I think it's just their bias.
Somebody wants something to be haunted so bad they'll make it haunted.
Yeah.
And those are also the
or like
that
EVP, like I was having an interesting conversation the other day about the stupid questions people ask during EVP. Okay, number one stupid question. If you want us to go, make a noise and we'll leave. All right, let's assume for something that a person dies, becomes a ghost. So the ghost thinks like a person does. That ghost is sitting there going, you know damn well, if I make a noise, your ass isn't leaving. You're going to be here longer. I know how to get you to leave. It's not to do anything, and you'll leave. If I do something, you're probably going to go put it on the internet, and then I got to deal with 20 more people coming here, ask me to do parlor tricks, and for long I'm doing the lambada, balancing a dish or something. But it's one of the things that can you make a noise? Okay, I don't have a big problem with that one, but what I really do is when you watch a lot of these shows that are out there and they're demanding, we're here to help you.
How are you going to help?
Show yourself now.
How would you help them?
Yeah. Well, wait, one of the things we used to do events, lecture kind of things, and one of the favorite parts is we would go up and the audience would be seated there. You stand up and jump up and down. I'd be looking at you like, what? It's like, why? You don't want to do it? Because well, who are you? Exactly. Who am I to tell you what to do? Well, you're trying to treat a ghost the same way.
Right.
Thinking it's going to, just because you're telling it to, it's going to react. Provoking, which a lot of people think is disrespectful. It's kind of the same lines. You're just trying to get it to react. But some of the things that people try to do to provoke it, going in, swearing at it, calling it names, the best results I've ever seen with EVP, speaking of bias, has been with that bias angle. And it's the way Chris Fleming does it. And a lot of times, a lot of people, they don't get to see how Chris does it because the shows are edited. Mm-hmm. So you only get to see a small, 10, 15-second clip of it. Chris carries a conversation on like he's talking to a person in the room. The way I think he does it like if you're in a bus stop, and it's a long ride and you're kind of lonely, nobody to talk to, you're bored, and you want to start a conversation with someone on the other side of the room. So you kind of go over there, oh, yeah, how's the weather doing, la, la, la. He does it the same way. He starts this dialogue like he's talking to him. He's always polite and nice, often talking about stuff not even related to the paranormal or whatever. And then in between there, he'll ask an occasional question. Mm-hmm. And that's when you really listen for the EVP. And that's why I think he gets a lot of interesting EVPs because of the way he does it.
I have another question. I'm filled with questions tonight for you that people might be thinking out there. So let's say, we're doing EVP. We have a group of, 8 people. Well, not even 8. We'll say we have a group of 5 people on this, investigation. How do you know that the ghost knows you're even talking to them? You have all these people around. How is that ghost supposed to be able to tell this person is talking to me? How do, if you're a spirit, let us know. What if they don't even know they're a spirit?
Well, there's a good question. What if they don't know they're dead? Because there's that whole hypothesis that they don't know they're dead and that's why they're still there. Yeah. I think that's why Chris's approach works, because he doesn't ask questions like, when did you die? Or why are you here? Mm-hmm. Or things like that. He doesn't ask that kind of questions. And maybe that's why. Who knows?
I think that his theory is awesome, but at the same time, I kind of think that, if there was a ghost in the room, they'd be like, who, me? Unless it was just you in the room by yourself, which in that case, what kind of, you could have a control. I guess you could set up a camera showing you're the only one in the room. But, I think that would really be the only way that a quote-unquote ghost would know, like, this person is talking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, who, me? Are you talking to me, or are you talking to the tattoo freak next to you? Because I'm not sure.
Talking about just opening up a can of worms, really. I was going to say a bottle of worms, but no.
A bottle of worms. Have another drink.
Mm-hmm. We hear with our ears. Well, they don't have ears. How are they perceiving sound?
Right.
They don't have eyes. How can they see you? How do they know you're there? There's a lot of those kind of questions as well, But and then there might not be nothing at all. It could all be explainable in the long run, and we're talking to ourselves. So that's also a possibility. But, now, granted, in EVP, you're going to have to use a little bit of bias. EVP is a very believer technique, But the thing is, just to wrap it up, don't become so biased that you're listening so hard to stuff that it's crap, it's nothing. But, you convince yourself it's a voice. I get that so many times with members. They want to have an EVP so badly, and they're like, "Here, listen."
And it says...
And I'm just sitting there going, I don't hear it. Right here. Wait, let me play again. Like, nah, I'm still not hearing it. Oh, one more time. Hang on. Right here, right here on this part. They're all looking at me like I'm going to, do backflips or something. Like, no, that's just noise. I don't hear a voice. It's...
And I think that there are some people, that are good at analyzing the EVP, but then there's people like me where, honestly, like, if I hear something, I do like somebody to double check it because I don't want to miss something. And
real EVP, in my experience, it's blatant. It's not hidden within the static. There are very few that I've found that are actually like that. Mm-hmm. Most of them, you hear it. There's definitely, you can go, oh, wow, there's definitely something there. You can see it on the waveform. There's something in there. If you're taking the sound bite and you're jacking it up, where you got that really, where it starts to break down and you hear the little beeps, like that when as you're playing it, you're just creating sound artifacts. And there's so many issues with that whole thing anyway. Like if you're taking one of the things I really don't like is when we have the old style and you're connecting it line in to the computer. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's all about the quality of your sound card. If the sound card is crap, then your recording is going to be crap regardless of how great the recorder was. Mm-hmm. So you have an issue there. And then, what sampling rate are you going to select, and all this other stuff, And you got the, you do have the recorders that you can plug directly into your flash drive of a computer. The problem is a lot of them record in MP3s. But, really that whole, I was paying a lot of attention to a lot of different people talking about this. Back in the day, everybody was like, it must be a waveform. There's more data in the waveform. No MP3s. An MP3 is compressed sound. And it sounds like everybody's going, it really doesn't matter. We're getting EVP on MP3. So, why use the wave? So, I don't know. That might be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, maybe.
Run them with both and see if there's a difference. Include 3, something to think about. I was going to say add a third control, but then you'd have to have 2 MP3s and two waves, to do it right. So, okay, we ready for news?
We are ready.
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Welcome to Post-Mortem, the latest paranormal news with Racer.
There's an orb, what we call an orb. There's nothing come right across the other bed and just kind of disappear right at the camera.
You're going to see the shape around the corner which resembles a face.
Oh, pardon me, that's your ass.
We have to dig from here so as not to be seen. Come on, bitches.
All right. Ladies and gents, I keep bringing this up because, I get some questions on Facebook about it. And you can go to the website. This is for the AU, Atlantic University's Parapsychology and Consciousness Conference. This is one that I talk about because I really don't think the speakers are that bad. It's not with psychics and other things. This is actual, people that are in for the scientific research of ghost hunting. And it's actually going to be held October 14th through the 16th. Today is the last day for early registration discount. And just to let you know, you may want to get that early discount because it's $325 for all 3 days. You have all day the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th. It's $325 for all 3 days if you register by today. If you wait, it's $395. There's quite a few people here. All of them with PhDs. Julie Bichelle, Director of Research at the Winbridge Institute for Applied Research of Human Potential. Edwin C. May, Founding Director of the Laboratories for Fundamental Research. You also have people for the founder and director of the Global Consciousness Project. And the, there's just a ton of people, with a science background that are looking into the whole parapsychology and consciousness, when it comes to the paranormal. So, and that will be at the Atlantic University. So if you have questions, you can there's a contact, you can email rachel.alvidrez@atlanticuniversity.edu. So, or just Google it. It has its own website. So that's the Atlantic University's Parapsychology and Consciousness Conference. I cannot talk today. It's fine.
She's rattled.
We both had to drive through a pretty big accident today.
And a backup.
Yeah.
Damn, it kind of sucked. Yeah.
We got here, and the first thing Hitman said was, "We just need to take a minute."
We just need to have some big.
We have a minute.
In a minute, yeah.
News all the way from Russia. They have some strange crop formations in Russia. From what I'm understanding after doing a little bit of research, is they're not very big in Russia. Crop circles recently appeared in wheat fields near the village of Znamensky outside, because I'm Russian, Krasnodar, Russia. These circles have captured the imaginations of motorists bedazzled by visions of spacefaring race that has zero respect for a staple crop. It looks like you can go online and you can find the pictures for it. I'm actually at naturalplane.com. And they have a bunch of pictures up of it, and it's pretty elaborate. You can't really see if it's like most of the time it's.
What? I can't even see what the hell you're looking at.
It's because you're blind.
No, where's those little, that doesn't.
It
looks like I don't know. It looks like a Tetris game, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like a Tetris game. They're saying that the reason why this is so interesting is with wheat. If wheat is stepped on, it tends to break at the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that look. It tends to break at the shaft, and what they're seeing is...
You said shaft.
I know. Is, you'll see pathways, or you'll see the crop circles that, are definitely weird shapes, but you'll see next to it, you'll see one that is another odd shape where it doesn't look like anybody walked because wheat would break.
So they're saying, like, if some dude walked in there, there'd be evidence of him walking in.
Yes, because, wheat is a lot,
okay.
it's not as sturdy as corn.
Right.
You walk on wheat, it's going to break at the shaft.
So all you poser fakers, use corn, not wheat.
Yeah. Wheat, you will be screwed up. Okay, we're ready.
Oh, we're ready? Okay.
We're ready.
Yeah. Takes me just a second to hit the buttons.
Welcome to Post-Mortem, the latest paranormal news with Racer.
Is an orb, what we call an orb, there's nothing come right across the other.
That's called oops.
Uh-oh.
I just hear that name and I shudder. Nigger bitch! Do it again. Nigger bitch! Dumb bitch!
Did you call me? What? I'm sorry, I heard dumb bitch. I assume you were speaking to me.
No, I'm talking to her.
Your name is Dumb Bitch too? No wonder I've been getting all your mail. Do you think we could be related? Because there are a lot of us dumb bitches.
Okay, I'm sorry. I totally effed that up.
Yeah, you did.
I told you earlier I didn't eat yet. I'm already drinking beer on an empty
stomach. We had a very hard ride over here.
Sorry.
It's been a,
But I fixed it.
All right. Okay. I understand UFO reports. I do. I understand because I have seen weird things that I'm sure were explainable. But, I'm not. I am just now in physics and astronomy with college. And to make an assumption like this is a little ridiculous. But this article comes from Roger Marsh from theexaminer.com. A UFO 5 miles wide. 5 miles wide. We're talking Independence Day with Will Smith wide. Disc-shaped a disc-shaped object, possibly 5 miles wide, was reported hovering over Kansas City, Missouri, while a series of other odd events were reported in the same region. This is the testimony from the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON. The witness is a member of MUFON and has just let her office know that she was traveling west on 23rd Street and nearby Independence, Missouri, near Nolan Road on August 7th. I saw a huge dish-shaped, dull gray metallic object hovering at what looks like the north half of downtown Kansas City. So here's my thing. A lot of UFO reports, they really only come from people that are interested in UFOs.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there? You have a UFO flying over my head.
Yeah, that's true. Like Bigfoot reports often only come from people that know about Bigfoot.
It's one of those things. Like I think it kind of ties into ghost hunting. People that really want to see a ghost. It doesn't have to be really a ghost, but they're going to see one. Mm-hmm. And so you have all these people from MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, reporting that they're seeing all these UFOs, and it's estimated to be the size of 5 miles wide. So let's think, 5 miles wide. That would be one ridiculously sized UFO.
It would be huge. It'd be like the Air Force would be all over that, unless it's a secret Air Force project.
It's secret.
They got with the Grays,
and
got
only
the technology.
People that study UFOs can see it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I think that if there was something that was 5 miles wide in the sky, it probably not only would make national news, but there would be a few more reports about it.
Yeah, there'd be like a lot of people going, "Oh, what the heck is that, Jethro?"
So I just every now and again I like to see what people in the UFO community are doing, because I mean, just when I start to think that there are some ghost hunters out there that are crazy, the UFO community really brings me right back to say, you know what? We're all right.
There you go. Okay. Well, like to say, bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, bias. Next week we will have the Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
I got it, and then I'm just trying to get it into a right format. Finally got the bloody DVD to work. Now I'm having problems ripping the DVD. So, well, we'll get it.
We'll get it.
But it's pretty cool. So we'll probably start off with the Suicide Ghost.
And I know a lot of people out there, I mean, they really don't know, like, how amazing, the stories that come from Japan are. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some scary things that happen out there.
Well, look at their movies. The grunge.
I can't. I love horror movies. I don't get scared, but I will tell you what. In all of these movies, like the Ju-on and Ring-yu, those little Asian women scare the crap out of me. Like the long hair covering part of their face, their big eyes, all little and pale, crawling towards you. I'm just like, you know what?
So you screaming like a girl?
Yeah.
No, I like that one. What movie was it? Was it The Grunge, where they were making up the bed, and when the sheet went up, you could see the legs, and it came back down? And
was that The Grunge? Was it?
If that was The Grunge or not?
The Grunge.
The Grunge. The Grudge.
Grudge.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh.
I can't remember now.
No, you know what? I don't think that was. I thought that was The Messengers.
It might be.
I think it was The Messengers, which really wasn't a good movie either.
By the way, the State Pen Porter, the stickers come off really well, and you can stick them all over places. I bet they did that intentionally.
Free advertising, are you
Don't
kidding
you do
me?
that when you're drinking a beer, like you'll play with the label and take it off? What is that if you take it off, supposedly you're supposed to get some or something? Isn't that the myth?
Well, you've taken off too, so good luck. You have a lot coming.
We gotta go.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. Good enough. Next week we'll do the Japanese stuff, and then I'll see what we come up with. I mean, I've been debating on 2 or 3 different topics, and I'm going to see which one I like the best.
Or if you guys have a topic out there too, I mean,
you always put it on Facebook.
Yeah, send a message, Facebook it.
We might like it better. You never know. That is true. Okay, so I think that I got to get everything ready here. I was totally unprepared by doing the UFOs above your head.
See what happens?
I'm telling you, horror hour is going to be fun with my empty stomach and these beers.
And don't forget to. It is a mature audience only show, but make sure you listen to our horror portion of Ecto Radio.
Yeah, that's really not mature like elderly, but
mature like between.
Don't have your little brother listening.
Yeah, no.
Not a good thing. All right, so that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.